Have you ever stared at a textbook feeling like you're reading an ancient text? What if I told you the problem isn't your intelligence, but rather it's your approach to learning? Most learning approaches do not set us up for success. Actually, studies show that 70% of learners feel overwhelmed by complexity. Learning complex topics without a method is like trying to cross a river without a bridge. You might make it, but you struggle. A simple 6-step process that turns any complex concept into a clear, logical progressions. This is the framework that transformed my learning, and it can do the same for you. Have you ever stared at a textbook feeling like you're reading an ancient text? You read the same paragraph 3 times, but nothing sticks. It's like trying to read a book in a language that you don't speak. That crushing feeling when everyone else seems to get it, but you're drowning in complexity and confusion, blaming yourself that you're just not smart enough. What if I told you the problem isn't your intelligence, but rather it's your approach to learning? Let me tell you a story. When I took quantum physics for my independent study in college, I remember struggling with understanding all the concepts and thinking to myself that I just wasn't cut out for this. I would spend hours and hours reading and rereading the same paragraph, but instead of gaining clarity, I just felt more confused and defeated. So I started doubting myself. Maybe this was just too hard for me, but here's what I discovered that changed everything. Now, if you like me and you've been telling yourself that you're not smart enough to learn complex topics, I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. The problem isn't your brain, it's how you were taught to learn. Most learning approaches do not set us up for success. Actually, studies show that 70% of learners feel overwhelmed by complexity. Picture this, you want to understand investing, so you pick up a finance book, and page 1 hits you with diversified portfolio allocation strategy, beta coefficients, and dollar cost averaging. All of this in the first paragraph. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. Or you decided to learn coding, and those coding tutorials start with, first set up your development environment with Node.js, NPM, Webpack, and Babel, before you even know what programming is. So your brain shuts down before you even write your first line of code. Or you want to say learn about blockchain, and your first step is to look for simplifying explanation of this topic. Instead, what you came across is that blockchain is just like a spreadsheet. Well, that doesn't help you understand why it's revolutionary or how it actually works. It's like explaining a car as a metal box with wheels, which is technically true, but not at all helpful. So some explanations casually drop terms like you should already know them. For example, a machine learning article mentions supervised learning algorithm without explaining what supervised means, what learning looks like for a computer, or what an algorithm actually does. It's like joining a conversation halfway through where everyone assumes you already know the backstory. So you ended up nodding along, pretending to understand when you actually don't. Every day you avoid learning something new. You're not just missing knowledge, you're missing opportunities. I almost gave up on challenging myself on learning complex topic that my curiosity was leading me when I was struggling with understanding quantum physics. The self-doubt that I'm not smart enough to comprehend these topics kept creeping in. I was shied away from learning new things, sticking to my comfort zone. But deep down, I craved the thrill of learning something new, of pushing my mind to its limits. So don't let complexity win over you like I almost did. But here's the breakthrough that changed everything for me. Learning complex topics without a method is like trying to cross a river without a bridge. You might make it, but you struggle, wasting your energy and probably give up halfway. But with the right tool, you can build that bridge for yourself. Traditional learning often feel like this. You handed a box of disassembled parts for a complex machine you never seen before with no instruction. And you somehow expected to figure it out on your own, but the technical terms make it feel impossible for you. But what if you had a clear, illustrated manual that walked you through each steps? You would start with the foundation parts, understanding their purpose before moving on to the next components. Each component you add builds on the last. That's exactly what I discovered. A simple 6-step process that turns any complex concept into a clear, logical progressions. This is the framework that transformed my learning, and it can do the same for you. It's not magic, but it can feel like it when you see how it transformed chaos into clarity. Here's what most people don't realize. You don't need to be born a scientist to understand quantum mechanics, but you do need to be more strategic on how you approach learning this topic. Instead of spinning your wheels with the traditional learning approach that we always taught, and we know it simply is not working for us, you can switch to a method that actually works with how your brain naturally learns. Imagine being able to tackle any complex topic with confidence. You would save hours of frustration, avoid the mental drain of confusion, and actually enjoy the process of learning. You will become the person others turns to for clarity, whether it's at work, in school, or even in casual conversations. So picture yourself confidently diving into subjects that used to intimidate you, knowing you have a reliable roadmap to clarity. No more avoiding complex topics. No more feeling I'm not smart enough to understand this. So while others are still struggling with information overload, beating themselves up for not understanding, you could be the person who actually gets the concept. You could be the one who sees the connections, who understand the foundations. In my next video, I'll walk you through the exact 6-step simple framework that transforms confusion into clarity. Now, if this resonates with you, if you ever felt overwhelmed by complexity or doubted your ability to learn something new, hit the like button below. It tells me you want more content like this. And definitely subscribe so you don't miss out the next video where I break down this framework in detail. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Drop a comment telling me one complex topic you've been avoiding, whether it's artificial intelligence, quantum physics, or option trading. I read every single comment, and I might even use your idea for future videos. Now remember, you're not incapable of learning complex things. You just haven't been using the right tool for the job.